If by chance you are dreaming right now, wake up! Welcome to Horror Nights! Welcome everybody to Horror Nights. Hope you all got power and hope you're staying warm. It is snowy out. We're talking tonight though about Shattered Dreams. We got the director of the film, Michael, on, the cinematographer, Golden, and the lead actress, Amelia. Welcome everybody to the show.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
I have to say, Michael, I'm jealous. It's nice where you ever are. There's no snow. It's beautiful.
I'm in the middle of a graveyard right now.
You know what? I go to a graveyard most of the time to watch films because it's the quietest place. So I take my phone, I go down there. There's a little place to park. I sit there and I watch like zombie films and such, and nobody bothers me for hours on end. And it gives a good atmosphere for the film.
I'll say full immersion.
Yeah, it does. Like I watched Fulci's Zombie the other night in there before the snow came, and I have to say it made the film that much more interesting.
That's a great drive-in idea. It's just horror movies at the cemetery. Yeah.
Right?
Well, it is, and I mean, I use that as a location because I shoot some short films and shorts and stuff. So I got family that are buried there, so I'm always out there anyways. And I go there, and I'm always filming because it's got a good atmosphere to film, and there's not a lot of people around. So I'm always out there filming. And one day I was just like, well, I got nothing I'm doing. I got to kill some time before it's dark. So I was supposed to do like a night scene. So I just put on a film, and I was like, this is kind of nice. There's no one bothering me. It's quiet. Hey, having a kid in the house and everybody talking at once and everything, sometimes you can't even get through 15 minutes of a film. It's wild. But we're not here about all that fun and games. Let me ask you, we're here about Shattered Dreams. Now, Michael, you wrote this movie?
I came up with the idea for it about like 15 years ago. The general basic idea I came up with a while ago. Then I sent it to my friend Tom Fight, who can actually write, and he kind of took my basic idea with it and turned it into a real script.
I think that's one of the things sometimes, I guess, that we all got these ideas. Sometimes we just don't know how to word it into a movie format. Like, if we could get on the scene and improvise, then we probably could make it work. If we would just like do like as it went in our head, it might be rough, but it would work. But writing it out, I find, is like the hardest part, taking something and writing it out.
Oh yeah,
it's an art
especially
form,
with my
writing.
insane jumbled mess of notes and stuff I had for this thing.
Yeah.
Well, the jumbled notes I probably could work with. I could probably okay, well, that makes sense. I understand that. That's what goes on in creative people's heads as mumbled notes. You need someone outside that to take it and be like, okay, this is the vision. Boom.
Yeah.
This is how it makes sense. What was the 15-year gap for? Did it just take time? Did you sit on it? Not sure.
I wasn't actually making movies at that point. I was just kind of messing around with videos with my friends and stuff. And then this idea was kind of in the back burner. And we wanted to, once we started actually making movies, we wanted to kind of wait until we had a lot more experience, because this will be our 5th movie under our belt now. And we wanted to make sure we had enough experience to really make like a scary psychological horror movie, because it's not so much like jump scares and stuff. There's some in there, but it's going to be a lot more like atmospheric, psychological, like Silent Hill. I always describe it Silent Hill meets Nightmare on Elm Street. Is how
I like that. I can dig that. I'm like, I think I've gotten through my jump scare horrors, like that I don't get affected, or it just became like kind of null and void. Yeah, like same thing with like almost brutality. Like I've watched a lot of French extremity films, and you can saw people every which way. I've seen it all.
I get bored with them sometimes. Like I won't name the movie, but I was watching this one film. It was just all jump scares, and I got sick of like, all right, everything's quiet, and you wait like 10 minutes for something to pop out. It gets tedious after a while.
Yeah, like so I've been kind of like a fan of just like going on YouTube, like looking at like there's a lot of good analog horror series that are out there that are just kind of weird and creepy, and they don't have that jump scare. They just make you kind of think, or they play that psychological game. I like psychological horror, I think, a lot more because sometimes it's not the boogeyman that we got to be afraid of. It's our own selves or our own mind or things that we think are in our mind. Or
It stays with you, you know.
yeah,
Whereas you would easily forget
yeah.
like a jump scare, like a couple seconds and then you're over it.
And then also in real life, like most of the real horrors is humanity. It's not, like
Mhm.
I said, a man with a mask. It's someone's own actions. It's someone's own thoughts that become that evil or that horrendous act. And
It's
so it,
actually
it
kind of
almost plays into that.
it's actually kind
Makes
of
it
part of the plot of the movie is that whole idea.
Yeah.
well, see, then it's already good in my book. Now you said you put out some films before. Which were those?
We had our first one was called The
Um,
First Date, and then from there was Darkness Binds, Skeleton Xylophone, and our most recent one was Dingus Day, which is a holiday folk horror for a holiday that's really popular here in Buffalo. So Dingus Day, the Easter Monday.
Nice. I like folk horror, and that's even awesome that you brought it to the East Coast because I mean outside of Salem, we don't really got a lot of good East Coast folk horror. Have you guys been friends for a long time?
Yeah, we've when did we meet? I don't even remember. We met at we worked at a video game store in our small town we live in at one point. It was GameStop. It doesn't. I'll say
Yeah.
it was
Yeah,
GameStop.
yeah,
we
yeah.
worked
There's
at.
only one game
We
store. We all
spent
know.
It's
we
it's
spent
been
a
about
good portion of
15
time,
years.
Yeah, right around there. Yeah, we spent a
I
good
used
portion
to
of our
work at a
shift talking
Blockbuster. We
movies.
all worked at an old store. No, but that's awesome. I mean that you guys became friends, but then you guys actually started making movies together.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was a lot of we used to watch a lot of low budget horror movies or low budget movies. Like we would watch 2 every Sunday, and then we decided to start. We started a YouTube show for a while back there, reviewing them, and then it just kept getting to the point that it was like, why haven't we made one yet with with our creativity and stuff? And then it happened. We finally got tired of saying, why haven't we made one yet? And we started making them.
Now, what was that jump like? Like, was it hard transcending? Like, just saying, "Hey, we're gonna make a film." Did you like know where to start? Did you have to go through all these steps to figure out budgeting and everything?
We I think we got pretty lucky. We crowdfunded. We had a budget of $1,000 for our first movie, which was a lot for us. That all went towards equipment. Mike already had a bunch of equipment, so that helped. Mike has like actual education and a lot of stuff, whereas I'm just the crazy person that loves to act and be part of it. And yeah, we just got a bunch of our friends to play parts, figured out how to work around the fact that most of them couldn't act. Brought in a couple of actors later on that we ended up meeting to be part of it. So like Paul McGinnis, who was playing the villain in Shattered Dreams, got to meet him, and then through him we've met a bunch of people. We finally got lucky enough later on to meet Amelia, who is going to be amazing as the protagonist in this movie. So it all kind of worked out, and just with each movie we met more people, more amazingly talented people, and just kind of finally got to the place where we think we can make a psychological horror and do it well.
Now, when you say make it like, were the other ones just not horror? Were they not like, what was the other ones to you like that make this one so much different or more important per se?
The first one, First Date, was kind of like a horror comedy anthology, just a couple of different shorts, which made it easier to film because then we just needed our friends available like one day. We filmed that whole little section one day. Darkness Binds was kind of like a haunted house horror comedy, like our first foray into feature length that was an anthology. Skeleton Xylophone we made during COVID, which was another horror anthology that we didn't have much of a choice since people couldn't like go near each other too much.
Yeah.
So we had to decide, well, an anthology could be fun and originally we were going to have just us be in everything because it was just us that could meet each other. But then COVID let out a little bit, so we were able to do that. And then Dingus Day was full horror comedy, definitely our best movie. So we wanted to go a lot more into actual horror this time. Like we wanted to actually.
This is like you've kind of cut down the comedy altogether. And just
Yeah.
go straight.
Yeah,
kind
there's
of
no
horror.
jokes in this at all.
Which, I mean, I'll be honest, sometimes a movie does need a joke just to lighten the tone or something. Or you could just be sick like me and think some of these like crazy movies are just funny naturally, just because like
Right.
either A,
Oh, yeah.
circumstantial, like how does somebody get in this circumstance? Like their luck must just suck.
Right.
Like I've watched movies like that, and it's like, damn. Like of all the places you had to go, like you should have just stayed home. But it also depends on the character. Like if I'm one of those people, like if I can fall for the person that's supposed to be the final girl, I can fall for somebody. Then I care to see what happens. Otherwise, I want to see the killer just win. I want to see a bleak ending. I want to see nobody survive. Boom.
Or if the
Like,
characters are unlikable, they have to be like very quirky and fun. You know?
yes, at least enough to make you say, I want to see them survive the killing.
Yeah.
But I do like, I mean, that's the one thing I do like about like foreign film is like a lot of stuff is the endings are just bleak. They're just, where like American remakes kind of get too happy ended or too, almost we need a hero all the time. We need someone to prevail. And life is just sometimes bleak, dreary. There isn't always a final girl. And sometimes a good twist to not have one, and sometimes there is a good twist to have one when you think that all hope is gone. So it works both ways. But now you're saying you're in this new one, Amelia. You're in Shattered Dreams.
Yeah, I was also in their previous feature, Dingus Day.
Okay, that's what I was gonna ask when you
Yeah.
when you came aboard in
Yeah.
Dingus Day. How was working on Dingus Day?
It was so fun.
And
So
hot.
many laughs. I mean, we're having the best time making this too. Just we have laughs off screen. But no, Michael and Golden are some of my favorite people to work with. I just love their attitude and enthusiasm, and it's just the best time.
So it's fun on set anyways, and being part of the production. It's not, it feels almost less like work and more like a project or more like something that people are enjoying to do. And I think that makes a difference when people enjoy what they do in general. The creators enjoy it.
Yeah, and that's the thing with us, like what Mike and I have always said since the beginning, is we want to have a set that's fun but focused and productive. Like we want to make sure obviously we're making a good movie and everything.
We're also very efficient on set. Some of the most efficient people to work with.
We've had to be our first day of shooting because we're doing outdoor winter stuff, and we had 2 days of filming that we need to do outdoor winter, and our first day of filming was 0 degrees outside.
No, it was like negative
I
10.
think it was actually the coldest day of the year. One of them.
Yes,
It was like negative
it
something.
was in the negatives. So we had a cabin with some heat. I think it got up to 30 in the cabin, but it
Did it?
felt super warm compared to outside. And so it was just Mike and I would be outside, set up the shot, bring out Amelia and the extras and everybody. Everybody knew if you're feeling cold, if you're starting to really feel the cold, just go inside. We'll take the break. We didn't want anybody to try to be brave and
Get
end up causing
hypothermia or
damage.
anything.
Yeah. So then we just filmed Saturday, and it was like a balmy 30 degrees out, so it felt like super warm compared to the first day of shooting.
Yeah, I bet.
So we're making sure we were nice and focused so that we could, get everything going and get it done.
And both days went very smoothly.
They did.
Yeah,
Surprisingly. It's I think what's really helped is this is the movie that Mike and I have decided we're going in our roles, we're staying in our lane, and that's it. And I think that's really helped because previously it's been basically Mike and I doing multiple roles and trying to help each other on the thing. And I think a lot of stuff has gotten kind of just mishmashed because of that. But with this one, we know our lanes. We've been jumping through them, doing everything, working together, and we've got some pretty nice shots and everything out of it too by working together. Mike got to play a workhorse because we did a dolly shot that was using a sled, and I was running the camera. Mike was pulling the sled as Amelia ran next to it, and that was on the negative degree day, and it worked out. It turned out really good. We had to wait till it got downloaded to the computer because I couldn't see the monitor. It was so bright out that day, so I had to and then the battery died like right afterwards. So we were just like, I guess I got the shot, but I did. So it was great.
That's great, though. I mean, it sounds like I said, like, I don't know. To me, it's just, as much as it's the finished product, it's like the things like you just said, these kind of memories that go along with it that make a film memorable to make as much as it is to do. But it seems to be a common also thing that, a lot of people that I talk to, the directors, that even in the earlier films, that you are playing many roles. It's not just you're stuck doing one thing. You have to do whatever is available that needs to be done.
And it's
You might have
collaborative
to
effort.
act,
Yeah.
then you have to you might have to color grade, you might have to do this on set, you might have to do that, you might have to film. Depending on what the crew is like, depending on what people are doing, depending on what your budget is, you might not have everything that you need exactly. So you're kind of running around doing everything. Whereas then, like you said, you get further into it where all you have to go into now, you might know how to do 5 or 6 different things, but you only have to worry about just one. It's a nice feeling to kind of go into.
Yeah, it really is.
It let us focus and really make a better production, I think, when we're able to just kind of stay in our lanes.
Man, Mike's has always been awesome as a director in this, but it's definitely great. He's like really shining in this now that he gets to just be the director. He doesn't have to man the camera. He doesn't have to try to do all the other things. And I think it's really showing. And I think it's going to really show in the end product for Shattered Dreams, like how amazing he is when he can focus on just that. So
that lets me.
Well,
run
let me
the
ask you.
Iron Fist.
Oh, yeah. Well, speaking of, I was going to ask you what the real question. How's the catering on set? Is the catering good? The food good?
Well, these 2 days,
yeah.
The first 2 days were outdoors in the middle of nowhere at a cabin. So whereas when we filmed there in the summer for Dingus Day, we had somebody that could run out and get pizza and bring it back. We just came with like stuff to make sandwiches from Walmart. For this one, but we will have better catering once we're in town. So that's
always a plus. I heard that catering's important.
I mean, I do like to eat, so
Yeah.
I heard the cast likes to eat. I heard people in the cast, especially it depends on filming days too. I guess when you got people that are there for 12 hours, you got to feed them eventually.
For me,
if they're there just for 1 or 2, you can let them go, maybe with a glass of water.
Just 1 glass of water, though.
Just one good water or 2 taps.
No, for me, I always get mad at myself at the end of the day because I'm usually not hungry while I'm working, so I won't really touch Crafty that much. But then once I'm done, like my appetite comes back. I'm like, man, I should have just like stuffed my bag full of food.
You're like me, you get the anxiety almost on being on set of
or
just
just
like having this film, and so like the appetite goes away, but then after you're like, I'm starved, and damn, everything looked really good. All that food. Look, you know what? I'm going to go back. I left something on set.
Right.
I'll be back.
That's like with on the first day of filming, I'm diabetic, and we're partway through the day, and like my hands finally warmed up because I was inside for a little bit, and once my hands warmed up, I realized that they were shaking because my blood sugar was like really low, and I'm like, well, I'm just gonna eat the sandwich real quick, and I'm just shoved a sandwich down my gullet. I think I put like all the different kinds of meats on the one sandwich, and it was just like,
well, you knew you weren't shivering after you warmed up. Before, you probably thought you were just shivering.
Yeah, I had no idea what my hand was doing at that point. So,
well, I guess that's the beauty of shooting on location, right, and not in some basement somewhere. You get to deal with the outside ailments.
Yeah. We got really lucky. We've been really lucky in our filmmaking careers that we're really good at making friends with people that have different locations and stuff available to us, and then through them making more friends. So like with this one, we had my friend's land, which we've used for Dingus Day and Skeleton Xylophone and other things. And then I have another friend who owns a work office type thing who's renting out her office for us to use for one of the shoots, one of the days of the shoots. And like another one of our film friends was in there because that's where we also have our premiere after parties. And he was like, this place is perfect. This is like a studio office. Like it doesn't look like a real office. It looks like the office you would have in a movie. And I'm like, yeah, it does. And we're using
Where are you guys located? New York?
Yeah, Western New York, like Buffalo, Niagara Falls region.
You should invite me to the you should invite me to the movie premiere.
We will. Don't worry.
I'll go there.
Premieres are known far and wide for being wild.
Yeah, their premieres are so fun.
Dingus Day premiere was wild.
Yeah, I'll say for Dingus Day we had an official, so like Krupnik, which is Polish liquor, huge for Dingus Day. We had a local distillery winery that made their own Krupnik that ended up being our sponsors for it.
Wow.
And by sponsorship, all we asked them for was a couple bottles
Yeah.
of Krupnik for free. And then we let them come to the premiere, so they were selling bottles of Krupnik. Then we had the meadery was there as well at the premiere, so they were selling cans of mead, bottles of mead. And so
That's
we
awesome.
definitely have some good hookups for that stuff. So we like to make it a party, and then the after party is usually amazing too. So
Oh yeah.
I mean, Mike and I don't wait for the after party.
I'd drive out that far. That's not out of my region. If you was out in LA, that might be a hike. But
I go to Boston all the time for films. Not that far.
Yeah, I go like cons to Pennsylvania, out here, there, 8 hours, 9 hours. I like I said, I was telling her before. I used to do indie wrestling. I'd go all up and down the coast to go to indie shows. The things you do for fan fun or just even for your own, like I said, channels or whatever, it's kind of amazing. Because then you talk to people and they're like, you drove where? Like I drove to New York. Well, I drove to New Jersey.
Yeah, we have,
like,
we're also
why?
friends.
I'm like,
yeah, we're also
why
friends
not?
with the owner, the guy who owns the theater in town. So it's like a full historic theater.
Oh,
so
nice.
We try to pack the rafters. So
It's a
You
pretty
get
big
everybody
theater.
in there, you show it nice, you give it a nice presentation. I like that though, and I think that it also, I mean, it must make the cast and everybody that are part of the production and the production team feel good too, to see everything put together in the end and have it actually be presented properly, and shown properly and demonstrate that you guys, this is your project too. It's your baby. You weren't out just to make a buck. You're here just to also put out this project. Because there's movies, I think, well, not on I mean, maybe on the indie level there is the people that will get into it or the exploitation realm, but for the most part, most of them are, projects that people had in their heart or in their mind that they want to get out. It's not too much you get much later where you want to start, you get producers that are like, okay, we're going to make a movie about X, Y, and Z because it's going to make this much amount of money. Let's go. And then you start making things that you have no idea or care for. But it's going to make a lot of money. And you can do a good job
That's
doing
like the
it.
corporate side of filmmaking. Yeah, I think that's why indie filmmaking is like a different animal. It's much more.
Because
there's more passion behind it.
There's passion. There's some art house films. There's films that don't make sense, but there's also films that are very good that just don't have the $1 million budget. But they're still great lines, storylines. The tension's there. The sound is there. Everything is there. It's just
you're more likely to see something you haven't seen before.
Yeah. I've seen that too, where you've seen movies that they don't have the same Hollywood tropes that get used over and over again, because that's what works in Hollywood. But on the indie scene, people want to see something new and fresh. You go to an indie film fest, you don't want to see something that you can see at the movie theater across the street.
There's no reason to be formulaic. There's no reason because you don't have a studio, you don't have, the money-making element, so you don't have to be safe.
No, you can go to the full limits of where a camera can go. Which is pretty, it can get extreme, it can get wild, it can get artsy, it can get wherever you want to take it, but you can tell your story without limitations or restrictions. Now let me ask you, before Dingus Day, were you making films as well, Amelia? Were you an actress as well? Prior?
Yeah. I've been acting since I was like 10 years old. One of my first acting classes was at Boston Casting. I used to live in Massachusetts.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
But this year I will actually be making my directorial debut. I'm going to make my first short film. So.
Oh, awesome! That should be fun.
Yeah, Amelia is amazing to work with too. So we were so happy to get her in on Dingus Day, and then Shattered Dreams. So
And then that's great, because then you got like a team where like now she's gonna go and make her film, and then yet she got people she can talk to and ask questions that have done films prior and can help out as well. And everybody kind of gets into this community, and that's what I've noticed a lot with the indie filmmaking. That it's a nice little community to kind of that it's resourceful. A lot of it is kind of back scratching. Sometimes it's not everybody always makes projects that they can even pay people. Sometimes it's just IMDb credits and that hot sandwich. But literally, I've done roles where I've died on a bench or done this and that, and it's just for credit. And if there's food, cool. If not, whatever. But I wanted to just help whoever was in it, and hey, why not? Let me act. Let me be in a film. But it's like I said, some of it's just because we don't even want to. It might not even benefit us outside of being in the film, but we believe in the director or the writer or the author, whoever's passion so much. We believe in your vision that we want to see you succeed.
And if you're working with great people, I mean, you're having the best time. You always have those memories too, and
yeah, and everything's a learning process, whether it's your first film, fifth film, short film, you're filming on your phone, you're filming on, I use a Blackmagic now, but I mean, prior to that, I used a phone. Before that, I used, I don't know. I mean, probably handheld camera. But whatever it is, it's all a learning process. Even directing, you learn how to do things more efficiently. You learn how to get better shots. Cinematography, same way. Even acting, you can go back to your first role compared to now. How you present and how you act on screen is probably totally different. That arc, you see that arc of progression.
That's one of the things I love most about, acting and filmmaking in general, is there's always something to learn. That's what keeps it fun. It never gets boring.
No. Let me ask you, Michael, what kind of films and such influenced you growing up? What kind of stuff made you want to get into this kind of horror?
I had a weird mix of things I liked. Like I was a huge fan of Mel Brooks back in the day. So anything with him. My favorite movie of all time is Little Shop of Horrors. So that's why I'm excited. One of our future projects we have in mind is a superhero musical. It's not our next movie, it's the one after that. We're doing a superhero musical that is based on a short from our first movie in the first date. But I've always liked any kind of horror. I used to watch them a lot as a kid, and it was kind of a rule in the house, like, well, I'll let you watch them, but don't bother us if you get scared at night. So just do it your own. I was really scared of like It from Pennywise, or Pennywise from It originally. Child Eating Clown. I'm a big fan of The Grudge, and my favorite horror movie is Trick or Treat. So that kind of sums it up.
Nice. I'm meeting actually Sam next month. I'm excited for that.
That's awesome.
Yes, I'm a big fan of horror anthology, and I thought that was a really nice anthology done very well. That all the stories just looped together really seamlessly, and they all were entertaining. I like short film kind of thrown together that way because you don't need the attention span to sit for an hour and a half and watch a whole story. Now, granted, some shorts I've watched and I'm like, oh damn, I wish this was a full feature, or damn, I want more. But I would rather want more than say, oh my god, I've had enough.
Yeah.
And not want to see the rest, or just want to skip through it to the end. And I'm just like, eh. What about you, Golden? What did it kind of got you to the horror world?
I mean, similar situation. My parents didn't care what I watched, pretty much. It was like, looking back at it, I'm like, wow, my parents were really bad at this. Just some of the stuff they let me watch, and it was the same rule. It's like, you watch whatever you want, but you're sleeping in your own bed and you just deal with the trauma. So I mean, I grew up watching like Poltergeist way before I should have. I think I was like 7, and I watched Poltergeist. Evil Dead 2 is my all-time favorite movie, which is funny because I saw Army of Darkness first. Didn't realize it was the third in the series until someone I worked with was like quoting the first 2, and I'm like, what are you talking about? So I went back and watched 1 and then 2, and 2 was my favorite because I just thought the perfect mix of comedy and horror, and like going back and looking at what they went through to get those movies made was like huge. So like Sam Raimi and Bruce Campbell are my idols. And I mean, I've always been a Nightmare on Elm Street person. If you like look at the slashers, which
Yep.
one I would always pick Nightmare on Elm Street. Number 3 was my favorite on that one. And then just, I mean, and what I love about horror, I think, is the fact that horror can be really good and it can be really bad, but both of those are really good to watch. Like, and that's what I love about it is we've watched so many horror movies that were like atrocious, but man, they were fun to watch. So I think that's the thing is like even in horror, there's so many movies out there, so you're gonna run into some good ones, some bad ones, but there's so much to enjoy out of all of them. So
there is, I grew up similar to like you kind of guys. I was kind of given a grace where like my mom didn't like horror, but my dad liked horror films. He enjoyed horror, and I had this kind of rule: I could go into the video store and rent anything as long as I didn't go behind the other two doors leading to the other room. So I would just hang out. I would hang out in the horror section, and back then VHSs, you would almost go by like cover, because if the cover got you, you'd buy it. So I'd end up things with like Paint Me Blood Red and freaking all these movies. And granted, looking back, I only probably scraped the surface of what horror even was, but because I got more into it as an adult, but luckily with resources and internet and everything else, now I go through the rails in the morning and there'll be like some guy will come on and talk and he'll be like, hey, it's me, your horror guy, these are the 5 movies you should never watch. And then I end up watching all 5 that morning, and I'm like, okay, let's start the day. And, I've watched all these extreme movies like Martyrs and this and that, and I go through their lists. And I've even seen things like Serbian film. And yes, it's a shocking movie, but it's shock movie only. It's shock factor movie. It's not it's scary because of the shock value, but not because of any existential dread or any kind of dreading feeling. And it's like kind of a one and done film. You're not going to really rewatch that. Where there's other films out there that aren't as shocking, maybe not even nearly as brutal, but you'll rewatch them and they will still scare you every time you rewatch them.
Oh yeah.
And Nightmare on Elm Street as a kid, that's one of them. You were always afraid of that kind of thing because as a kid, things are very, weird anyways, but you had someone that was killing you while you're sleeping. What could be scarier than that? And they kind of crossed the line in that movie where these were now, teenagers. And teenagers were always a thing anyways, but now you had, just regular. Michael Myers, he only went after the babysitter and a couple of other people, but they were the babysitters. They weren't any average Joes. But what like really got me was a movie like Pet Sematary, because all of a sudden now you get a kid get killed. You see,
we were just talking about that,
yeah.
And they didn't kill kids back in the day.
Yeah, we had just talked about that Saturday when we were filming, because that was a movie that when I was younger and I watched it, I wasn't able to finish. Like I stopped when Gage called the dad on the phone, and then like a couple years later, I ended up finishing it because some girls wanted to watch it with me. So I'm like, yeah, I'll watch that movie. And then I was like, really? I had like 2 minutes left in the movie and I didn't finish it. It was very upsetting.
And I mean, I appreciate what they did in the remake. They kind of changed the twist. They let the little girl get hit, but there's going to be nothing like that original with Gage, because Gage was just such a lovable character. See, for me, the girl was really annoying. She was always worried about the cat and this. If she got hit by the truck, I probably wouldn't have cared. But Gage was innocent. He was cute. He was this little boy running. He was just so whatever. And you just see him running, and you're like, once that scene begins, you know where it's going. This dread of fear, and even being a parent now, the dread is kind of like, even watching it now, because you just see where it's going, and you just want to grab and stop it, and you can't. And you feel for the father, and I think that's what makes it even more hard, is you feel for him because you've gotten to like these characters. Again, the family is pretty likable. They did really good casting, I thought. They had the mother there. She was the lady from Star Trek. I'm gonna forget her name, but she played Tasha Yar there for a little bit. And but yeah, when that happened, you're just like, what what happened here? As a kid, you're like, oh God, they just killed another kid. Okay, no one's safe now.
But they did that for a very specific reason, or I guess Stephen King wrote it for a very specific reason, because that was the turning point for the father that didn't go and, he pretty much had a good idea of what was going to happen when he brought them back to life. They weren't going to be
Well,
right.
yeah, and my co-host is not around. He took some vacation off, but he would always ask, like, what was worse, Gage dying the first time or having to kill him the second? Like, it's pretty wild. But a lot of those Stephen King films were, in my opinion, they were scary for a reason. I didn't read a lot of the books or not until later, but the movies for me, I thought were done in a way because they weren't overproduced. They didn't have these wild special effects. They weren't, this major cinematic masterpiece. A lot of them were made for TV, like series It. It had a lot of practical effects. It was Tim Curry, the clown, that really made that scary. It wasn't anything else. It was just character work.
Oh yeah.
And a lot of his other films too. Like, I was a fan of like Langoliers as a kid because it was one of those films I could watch and say, hey, this is made for children. Look. I could get away with certain horrors too, like by saying it was on TV, it was made for TV. It can't be that bad. It's on TV. It's not on a cable channel, and they're okay, fine. And even compared to what you see today, I don't think those movies were terrible. Like, yes, Texas Chainsaw, it was a wild movie. 2 was a wild movie, but is it that much worse than Terrifier that's out now that, has a lot much more gore and a lot much more killings and just murder? At least the older films had like cinematics to it. They were using color for fear. They were using tone for fear, sound for fear. The newer movies today, I appreciate them for what they are. I don't mean to take away from them, but it's not the same. It's just it's made for those deaths, because we're in a society where people like quick things. They got the rails and this and that, so that these kills stick in. So 3 or 4 or 2 or 3 good kills in a movie, that's all people need to remember to say, I'll watch that, or that was a crazy movie. Where before it was all about like the build up and everything else, and like, oh my God, this is what was
Texas
going on.
Chainsaw in particular, I think it was last year I saw it on the big screen for the first time. I've always just seen it on like, a small TV monitor. But seeing it on a screen, the thing that sticks out the most with Texas Chainsaw is the feeling when you're watching it, because you feel like dirty and sweaty throughout the entire movie. Just it has that effect on you. It's immersive
does.
that way.
And apparently that house was not air conditioned that they were filming.
Yeah,
like it was
just you feel hot and sweaty and gross. Yeah.
Everybody was
feel it.
sweating, and like there was actual animal carcasses in there too. So like the people acting in it, that's all they could smell was just like death, and I think that really, like she was saying, it makes you feel just dirty.
Yeah, I
watching
got
it.
recently some
gross.
behind the scenes Blu-ray, and it just has this whole documentary, but with it came like 8 different versions of the film. So like I watched all 8 one day, and it was like a VHS version, an Australian version, and a 16mm cut, barbecue cut, different color grades, like just, and watching them in their rawer form or their 70s or 80s form, it's like, wow, this movie was much more scary than the crisp 4K clear version.
Yeah, it hits different.
And I think VHS in general or older video does that just because you can't make everything out. So your mind starts manipulating what you should be seeing. Where today everything is shown 4K crisp. It's like, okay, that's great. It looks really nice, but there's nothing left to imagination. Everything can be seen and known.
Yeah, I think a lot of the grime
helps
and
like
stuff from those old ones.
It helps like hide goofs and errors too in the VHS. Like if there was something that went wrong in it, people didn't even notice that until like it came out on the Blu-ray. It's like, I don't remember that light in the background there because you couldn't see it on the VHS.
Oh yeah, the contrast or whatever. Or your TV was no good, so your TV wasn't picking up the color. but yeah, it's interesting, and I mean, I do like again. I appreciate the 4K, but I also like to see some of the times when they include the original formats or original cuts or older versions, just because I like that grime and grit that an older film has that today's films just don't. Um, but let me ask you now, this project that's coming out, can you tell me more about like the? Can you give me a synopsis for the film, or at least what's it about? Like, if you had to like hook it.
Yeah. I was sure Golden was going to go for it.
Oh, I was like, it's your story, Mike. You tell it.
Like I said, it's kind of like a very heavily Silent Hill inspired, and meets like Nightmare on Elm Street. So basically, our protagonist Amelia here, she starts seeing like hallucinations. Her life is falling apart, and she sees a psychiatrist. She starts seeing hallucinations, and every time she falls asleep, she ends up in this crazy dream world, kind of like the other world in Silent Hill, pretty much.
Yep.
But then you start everything gets kind of pieced together, what happened, what the monsters in there represent, that kind of thing, and she kind of tries to make it through all that while things in her dream are trying to kill her.
So the fragmented pieces of everything, it all has a purpose and means something. And I'm guessing that's where the psychological fare comes in, and
Yeah.
trying to figure out her story as well.
She's
as
dealing with
our
an abusive
affair.
husband and a bad relationship with her mother. She just can't win. Doesn't
Yeah,
go along with drama.
Amelia is pretty much the only likable character in the movie, including mine and Mike's characters. So
So do you typically act in your own films as well?
Like little cameo characters. I play Spicy Bob in all the movies, and then Golden plays Dirty Man and them. Except Dingasay, he also was the main antagonist, the monster.
that also taught me that I'm not going to be a big actor in our movies, just because I didn't like giving up control of the camera when I had to be in front of it. So that's why in Shattered Dreams, I just have a very small cameo in the Stinger as Dirty Man. But Dirty Man and Spicy Bob have become like our fun little cameos in every movie.
Or Jay and Silent Bob, pretty much.
Or Jay and Silent Bob, yeah. And it's funny because like our writer, the writer of this movie, he wrote Darkness Binds as well. And one of the characters I ended up having to play in that was a priest. And the writer got really mad because I turned the priest comedic, and he didn't have it planned that way. So now in this one, he's like, Dirty Man's going to be not going to be comedic. He's going to be just this dirty homeless guy. And he's all doing that as my punishment for making the priest comedic.
And you spoke about, having to give up the control. Was it kind of hard to kind of change that role and just be like, okay, I'm going to give up, let this person just shoot it how it's supposed to be shot, and I'm just going to do this?
I mean, I was lucky in the fact that the person I was giving up to was Mike, who was running the camera in all the other movies. But that was before I really got, a taste of being the cinematographer. So that's why it was harder for me, because I'm like, oh, I really liked being able to run everything. And like previous, Dingus Day was my first movie as the cinematographer. Before that, I was just producer and actor. And we wanted to have a cinematographer, and I wanted something with a little bit more creative control. And it kind of worked out I think it worked out really well for us. I'm loving the new role. Do a lot of research and stuff. So.
Well, now I see why you say that, staying within your roles that you do is much better, at the point where now you can kind of, like I said, you can grow into your cinematographer role and really kind of flirt with that. Mike can direct. Amelia acts, obviously. I mean, unless she holds cameras too, I don't know.
I don't touch the camera.
No, you don't go into that. Huh?
I don't
She
touch
held.
things.
She did hold the camera the other day
I
when
was
we were
terrified.
filming.
But I never
Because-
asked you, Amelia, what got you into horror? Why
Oh.
horror for you?
Just childhood. Kind of like you guys. I grew up on horror. I think one of the earliest films. We were just talking about this. One of my earliest films that I remember seeing as a kid was Fright Night.
Oh yes, that's a
Yeah.
good one. Charlie
My parents
Brewster.
didn't care, and like that's all I would watch was horror movies, and it just, I don't know. But to me now as an adult, it's nostalgic and it's always fun. I don't know. I love the horror movie culture. We were talking about conventions. I love the people who work
Oh
on it.
yeah,
It's such a great, nice
friendly.
community of
Talk about
people. I
friendly.
love
Yeah.
everything about it. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean, even the guests that come, they like to suit the stars. I've never met someone that was like vain or like rude or anybody. Like people have just
Mhm.
been really down to earth and nice and just happy that you were a fan of a movie they were in 30 years ago.
Did you ever go to Rock and Shock when that was a thing in Worcester, Massachusetts?
No, I
Oh
did
man,
not.
that was the first convention I ever went to. It was the best.
I just started going to conventions last year, and I just like I went everywhere. I went Worcester and
Mhm.
went to Jersey a few times, Connecticut.
There's
This
one
year I'm
coming
gonna.
up, Dead of Winter. Should go to that one.
They canceled it,
They postponed it.
postponed it. Yes.
So
Um,
whenever we get the
but
new
I
date,
got
I'll
two.
be at that one.
I got two in Pennsylvania coming up, which I'm kind of excited for.
Yeah, they have
Monster
a few
and
in Pennsylvania.
Creature Feature.
Steel City Con.
Yeah. And then I'm going to Texas Frightmare in May. That should
That
be
was my
fun.
favorite convention I've ever been to. Was Texas Frightmare. I love that one. If you've never been, you're gonna have the best time with that one.
I snagged those VIP tickets too, so I'm really
Yeah.
excited for that. I can get in there early, but I'm looking forward to that. Just kind of going out there, and I want to see a lot of the film festivals. Like where last year, I prioritized seeing a lot of the guests. This year, I met a lot of people, so I can kind of like enjoy some of the other aspects of the cons and check out some of the panels and this and that instead of waiting in the lines.
Mm-hmm. Good for
Yeah.
you. It's awesome.
Definitely, too, if you like film festivals and everything, highly recommend. It'll be in September. Yeah, September. The Amazing Fantasy Fest, which is the local one in Buffalo. That
Oh, nice.
that last year's where Dingus Day won an award. Amelia was in a multi-award winning short film, which was amazing. But the guy who runs it, Greg Lamberson, who if you've ever seen like Slime City and some other movies, he's done like some bigger ones, but he runs that film festival and he's really good at getting movies there, getting butts in seats, so you get to meet a lot of people.
Mhm. The well-attended people. Yep.
And that's where you get to like schmooze people like Amelia to talk them into being in your movie. So
Is that all it takes? Is just good talking to get actors and actresses? Because so
Yeah.
far I've only
The
been able to
most part.
star myself. I
Yeah.
need to get better talking, I guess. No, I'm hoping. I have plans. I've met some people, and like I'm hoping after the winter to actually go. But speaking of the cons and just that, it's like you meet so many good people there that are like-minded or that have a passion that you end up getting a lot of names and numbers, whether it be to come on my show to talk or whether it be to, hey, I want to work on a film at some point. You kind of keep it in mind. And, like I said, I've done a couple of really short films and other things, projects I've written. And now I'm like at a point where, okay, I've gone out of that. And I had some friends that have made some features and other short films. Like, okay, let's do a collab. Let's try to get a script together that we can write or work on together, and let's make some cinematic magic. Let's make something fun happen. Because I don't think there's any harm in it. Win, lose, or draw. At the end of the day, you made a movie. Not many people do that. So, I mean, a bad movie is still a movie. A movie is a movie. There's people that still don't put out movies, and the person that put out the bad movie still did something they did not.
Oh, we have a friend like that he was in First Date, and he helped out on Dingus Day a couple of times. He's a really great guy, but he's also a perfectionist. So like he hasn't made a movie yet because he keeps like, no, I need this, and I need this, and I'm like, Mike and I. One of the things that drove us to finally make our movies, we interviewed a guy who made a movie, and he told us, he said, anybody can make a movie if they've got $1 million. He's like, but you don't have $1 million. If you have $20, you make a movie with $20. And that just kind of helped light the fire for Mike and I to say, you know what, you're right. Let's make what we can. We, at that time, had like no actor friends. We had our one buddy who we basically forced to be in the movie. And had somebody write a song to play over the entire short and to like kind of counteract the fact that he couldn't act. Like, and when I say he couldn't act, I mean, at one point we had to talk to him about walking because he suddenly forgot how to walk when it was on camera, and stuff like that. So like we just went with it. We did what we could. We figured out how to get past the fact that our friends couldn't act and put something out at the end of the day. And that led us to meeting so many more people in the industry. So, in the Buffalo film community. And that's what's gotten us to the point where now we actually have to turn people away. Like with this one, we had it's a very small cast for this movie. And we had a lot of people that wanted to be in it. So we actually got to pick the people that are, the best things for it. Like Amelia is absolutely killing.
You did a real casting kind of thing where you actually got to have people audition. You didn't have all these just parts that needed to be filled.
Exactly. It felt nice to be like watching casting videos and being like, well, I don't know if this person really feels it. And then like the person who sent in the thing to play Amelia's mother in this, like, absolutely killed it.
Oh, it was.
We
were all agreed on her.
What made Amelia better than the rest, though? What made her get that role?
So Amelia, so you only really know Amelia from this, and she seems like the nicest, sweetest person, and she is. In real life, she's super sweet. But on YouTube, watch Dingus Day. The character we cast her as was basically the town bully and the badass, and she showed up and just crushed it. Like
she's inside, she's a mean girl. See, that's the thing.
Found my inner Joe
nice
Pesci.
People,
I think
all nice people are nice to a certain degree. I'm a nice person, but we all have a mean streak, and we can play that streak very well. I believe that.
And I think it was like we saw how well she changed just to be the character in Dingus Day. I've enjoyed working with her on that. Wanted to work with her again. Mike wanted to work with her again. And then, like, even just talking to her about the things and her coming to us with the ideas and wanting to be so involved in it, I think was a huge thing too, to know that she was the right one for it. Because she wasn't just like, yeah, sure, I'll show up and everything like that. Like, she's really gotten into like, well, I want to do this with this character, and it's like, absolutely, let's do it.
Well, taking initiative is always important, I think, and showing that that you have a range of character. You don't just have to play, this mean person or this person. You can play the victim. You can play somebody else. You can play whatever you want. It makes you very valuable because now you guys got a team. You got someone to direct. You got someone that knows what they're doing with the cameras to put everything together. And then they got all you need is one good actress or actor. And everything else can work around those three almost. You can find other people.
Oh yeah, and I think that too with this, just the characters, so Paul, who's playing the psychiatrist in this, he's always a comedic role in everything, and he wanted to play something a little bit harder, and that's what he's doing in this. Amanda, when she was in Dingus Day, and I think that was her first actual movie, and then she's made her own since then. But she played a very lighthearted, goofy priestess, and this one she's playing a very bad mother, very uncaring, unfeeling mother. So everybody in this is playing something
totally
really
different.
Out of their thing, except Mike. Mike's playing an uncaring worker at a shop, which he plays in real life. Believe me, that's how we used to work together.
I was not the one customers came to for sympathy.
no.
It's a video game store. How serious could it have gotten?
Some of these people walked in.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you guys were literally ripping me off for selling my Xbox back. What could go wrong?
Oh yeah.
But I still prefer those days. That's the sad part. I would still wish they closed all the ones in me. But I mean, I enjoyed going to release parties of games, because then you would meet other gamers that actually cared about the game, but also just holding a physical copy of something, and B, just walking into a store and seeing used games which were for sale, which was always a deal going on that would always lure me into buy two and get a third one free, or a lesser value item for free. And like I said, I could amass a nice collection of games and stuff. But games for me has always been it's like another missing piece of my cinematic, because a lot of the horror games that I grew up playing, either A became movies or should have been movies. You know, you mentioned like things like Silent Hill. That first game terrified me as a kid
yeah.
playing it on
Mhm.
PS1. Resident Evil, I don't think they did justice with as cinematically, but as a game,
yeah.
it did well. I think if they kept it to that police story kind of thing in the mansion, I think it would have been pretty phenomenal. In my opinion, they didn't need to make it a full zombie film. But again, that's just me. But there's other horror films that games like I said that I play now, even that are just really nicely directed and are kind of atmospherically scary that would make pretty decent films. And a lot of them are being put together like films, or even have directors directing. Like I heard, like Hellraiser's making a movie. Clive Barker directed the game.
My
You
short
know.
film, one scene in my film was inspired by a video game called Condemned Criminal Origins. If you've ever
Ooh,
heard or played
it
that one,
sounds familiar.
yeah. So they can be
And how was
really scary.
I was gonna ask, how was it being on that side of things and actually getting to tell people what to do and so forth?
I haven't filmed it yet, but man, a pre-production process, because I've been one of the sole producers on it, has been challenging in every way. For a person with anxiety like me, just having to call and talk and arrange
I
so
hate
many
calls.
things, and just it has challenged me in every way so far.
See, it's
Film
funny.
anyway.
I have that same kind of anxiety. I have a lot of anxiety. You wouldn't know, but I don't really like. I hate the phone. Like phones,
Yeah.
I don't do.
Oh,
I'll tell people, come on StreamYard. I'll talk to you like this. That's
Mhm.
fine. I'll conduct an interview with you, but I don't want to make a phone call to anybody.
Especially
I don't
when
want
it's
to make
asking
appointments.
for things. I hate asking for things.
Yeah, I'll write them an email, letter, something, but
Yeah.
don't make me call them.
Yeah.
But then I can talk to people, like I said, 1, 2, 3 times a day, strangers, whatever. It doesn't matter, but it's different.
Mhm.
And plus, you guys are like-minded horror folks, so you guys aren't weird or anything. It's the people that
Man,
don't like horror that are weird. I don't trust them.
I say, well, we're definitely weird, just in the same ways. It's all.
But that's what I'm saying. The normal people, we don't know what kind of weird they are, so it's even scarier.
Yep.
We have our outputs. We can watch a Splatterhouse or something and be like, okay, now we're calm. The non-horror folks, what are they watching? What are they doing? I don't know. That's the scary part. But your first films now, Michael, where can they all be found? Can we watch them? Like people watch them?
The very, very first movie currently is only on DVD, but that's not the one people want to watch anyways.
And we don't want you to watch it.
Skeleton Xylophone are on Tubi. And then Dingus Day we released on YouTube pretty recently. But I have all 4 of them on DVD. So if you like the physical copies,
I'm a physical media guy. Can you need to
I
send
can
me the
send it
link
to you.
to
Yeah.
that?
If you wanted to send Golden your address, I'll ship all 4 of them out to you. I boxed
Yeah,
them.
let me. I'll send you the I'll send the address as soon as we're done. I'm a physical media person. I love collecting physical media.
We are too, and like that's always been the big thing when we were making these movies, is like we'll go out and look for anybody that wants to do the distribution for us and everything, but it'll just be the digital. We always make our DVDs. We have our DVDs available at the premiere, and that's usually the sales we get on the DVD at the premiere pay for all the DVDs we end up buying for it. So then like when we go to like film festivals, and when we go to Frightmare in the Falls, which is a horror con in Niagara Falls, Canada, by us, we just can hand them out like tip. We'll tip the waitress, but then we'll also include our DVDs and be like, hey, this is our movie.
Take a video.
Like this is our movie too. And we went to the one time we went with Paul to Syracuse, and we went to this bar called Three Lives Club, which is an awesome like video game themed bar, and other games too. Like you roll a 20-sided die to figure out what shot you're taking and everything.
Ooh, that's
Super fun place. And we gave like the one waitress the DVD of our movie at the time. Was it Darkness Binds or was that Skeleton Xylophone? And we gave her that, and then all of a sudden our waitress came over the table and she's like, you give her a DVD and not me when I'm your waitress? So we gave her one. And then all of a sudden, like all the kitchen staff was at our table. Like, can we get one too? And we're like, yeah, whenever Mike and I travel, I just like load up a backpack filled with DVDs. We hand them out like crazy.
Right. There used to be a time where I'd be sitting at a bar somewhere when I was younger, and there'd be someone that would come around, and they'd literally be selling bootleg DVDs. So I mean, DVDs are still good. Okay,
Oh, yeah.
I don't know why people. I mean, I like I like the. Yeah, this is the thing about DVDs. I like to own a physical copy of something. Most of the times, I watch the physical copy because I mean, I gotta, I have it, but B also because it usually has some sort of extra on there.
Yeah, I was gonna
Different
say
maybe
the special
audio.
features. That's what I miss. I love seeing the
Yes.
special features, behind the scenes, bloopers, all that
But
stuff.
then I end up also buying a digital version of it for when I'm lazy or just want to watch the film and don't want to change the physical media or get up. And then I can just switch it on and turn it on.
Convenience. Yep.
It is. So I'll pay for both. I don't care. But I always like the physical media too because, like I said, sometimes the internet goes out. Sometimes something else goes out. This doesn't work. Tubi don't carry your video anymore. Tubi don't work anymore.
And no ads.
People lose rights to even distribution on DVDs so quickly. Like I'm imagining that the internet and the streaming services pretty soon are just going to go somewhere a bust because there's so many services. Some of them are just dedicated to horror. Some of them are overlapping. You got similar movies on 10 different platforms now. And it's like, okay, well, who do I watch? Where do I go? What do I do? What do I own?
I like with that. I was just talking about that the other day. Like, because Disney and Hulu now that they're merged, so I've got both. But usually, if it's something like I was watching The Misfits, which is that British show, and it's swearing, nudity, and all that stuff, so I purposely watch it on Disney instead of Hulu. So I'm like, what up? I was like, look, there's boobs on Disney.
I mean, like before I used to just get Shudder. Shudder had most of everything I want. But now I got there's 2 different found footage channels that only deal with found footage films. Then there's the Arrow has its own films, which only has Arrow distribution of films, which some of those, the J horrors and stuff are really nice to watch. And the Jalos as well. Then you have, other ones that just have more like August Underground and stuff. They got more dark horror. And then you have these other ones. It's like, okay, well, now I got 30 horror channels going. Some of them are free, granted. Not everything is paid, but some of them are free. But I'm like, I could just own these videos and just not have to deal with where am I going to watch this next movie.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
And plus, I always still like to support physical media. I think it's important. It's the same thing with books. Actually, that's one thing I never really got into. I never got into the digital books. It always strained my eyes to the point where my screen would just bother me. So I'm like, I just need the physical book because my eyes won't strain. But I do, like I said, I like physical media and I like things like that. But that's cool that you're able to kind of give that away or pass that or let people, experience it without having to put it behind a huge paywall. It's not the major moneymaker, or it doesn't have to be the major moneymaker. Where, like I said, sometimes people just making things just to make that sale off the, whatever it is they're making. It's the whole point of it is to cash cow.
Yeah, with us, pretty much all the money that we make goes back into us making more movies, except for I think for every movie, Mike and I will usually buy ourselves dinner at a nice place. That's our payment for the months and months of stressing out and doing everything. But the money we make from the premiere usually goes towards submitting to film festivals and traveling to the film festivals, DVDs so that we can hand them out and stuff, and a little bit of it back into the next movie and getting the ideas and stuff going for that. So it's we would love to live off of making movies. That's the dream.
We all.
But for now, it's
I
usually
eventually, I honestly think eventually you 3 will. I think you guys got a good team here. Eventually, you guys have the potential to. I mean, like you said, you got a good little rotation and things working together, and then she makes a movie. You guys produce, you direct, you do this, you direct, you produce. It's even movies like I said, like Terrifier, it's that started off not really doing so hot, and then all of a sudden you had, Mike Levy get behind it. He turned it into something. 2 came out, 3 came out. Stream then came out by Michael Levy, using a lot of them people. Now you got 4 coming out and a Stream 2 coming out, and the movies are are all over the place and they're doing great. And this only happened in a couple of years, and that's all it takes sometimes. Just the right kind of storm, I would say, to brew in a movie or a couple of movies that gets enough buzz going around that everybody just starts following you guys.
And it's largely because of the horror fan community, being
Oh
into
yeah,
it, spreading the
that
word, and
fandom
going
is
to
amazing.
conventions.
I mean, even the people that support Kickstarters and
Mhm.
crowdsource and put in and jump on as just paying producers, executive producers, whatever you want to do. It just they believe in what's going on in the scene. They believe in people like Michael. They believe in people like you and Golden. They believe in people that visions, and they want to see it come to life. And there's something about kind of being on that journey that's special too, because you're on somebody's journey that's putting out this piece of art or whatever. And I do think movies are a way of art. It's a way of expressing yourself. It's just as valuable as a painting or anything else. And if you think about it, if you were a painter and you could paint this magnificent, beautiful painting, but well, right now you didn't have no paint, you didn't have no brush, you had no canvas, but everybody donated a little bit of money so you could buy these things, and everybody had a little piece of this painting. It would be similar to the same thing.
Yeah, there are a
But
lot
they
of the same
got you-
elements. There's, composing and, just the coloring, all that stuff.
Oh yeah, and everybody kind of does their parts, and everybody's put their little mark in, and it's kind of what makes it beautiful.
Yeah, I think that's something that Mike and I have going for us too that helps is like we always say we're from Buffalo, but we're actually from in a small town south of Buffalo, and just within that town, I mean, the theater owner we've made friends with, we've been making friends with all these people, the local newspaper. Well, I think they run like 2 articles per movie for us because they do one when we're making the movie, like they're showing up to our set the next day we're filming, then they'll make one for the premiere. And all this stuff, like to the point where for this last movie, one of our biggest contributors is going to be the mayor of our town shortly. So
that's awesome.
like
That's awesome. Man.
it's really, so we really lean into like the small town community stuff. We do a lot of Dingus Day was filmed in this town. The police showed up to our set on Dingus Day, and because we don't do permits, we just show up and film, and police got called because they thought it was a rowdy high schooler party. I was in the full costume for the slasher, the Dingus, and the police officer showed up, and I'm like, I'll go talk to him, and I just started walking. And our producer, who's like legitimately like the only adult on set for us, because she's the only one that acts like an adult. All I hear behind me is going, no, not Golden, not Golden. Someone go with Golden. And I just walked up. I was like, I didn't even think about the fact that I had a quiver on my back, and I think I might have had an axe on me at the time, but
I never forget the time because, like I said, I live near a cemetery. I sometimes watch horror movies there. I chill there. I do stuff, but I've also filmed there a lot. And I was into the indie wrestling, and these guys wanted to put on this kind of a show. So I said, well, I know a place for perfect place we can do it. We called it Death Day. There's like a piece of land in between that's not used for cemetery yet, but the backdrop, about whatever feet away, you see gravestones. So it looked great. It cinematically looked nice. Went down there. You don't need really a permit. We weren't using any explosives or any guns or firearms or anything. No weapons were being used either. So we just went down there, and about 5 minutes into the first battle that these two were doing, this officer just rolls in. He's like, yeah, we're here because some neighbors reporting a fight. I walk over there. I'm like, look, they're all professional wrestlers. First of all, look how they're dressed. No one's fighting here dressed like that. The guy was like, oh, that's awesome. You guys do wrestling? He's sitting there talking to them. My kid comes over. He's like, oh, can I get a picture with the officers? I'm like, I got to ask you, can my kid get a photo with you? So I'm taking photos of the kid and the officer. These guys are still wrestling because I told the cameraman, keep going. Don't stop. I got to go. I'm going to go deal with this. So he didn't stop. They're just still filming. And then we just were like, okay, they were like, okay, that's good. I'm like, we're gonna be here for the rest of the day, so don't come back. If you hear any strange things, this is what's happening. And so we had pretty much the rest of the day just to do what we wanted there and film and get it all done. But that's kind of always funny when the police show up, because if you don't, I mean, not everything requires a permit, but there's people out there that don't know what the hell's going on either, so they think it's real. You know, I was talking to somebody earlier. I was like, the best time to shoot anything is probably during Halloween. You can chase somebody down the street with a knife, and no one's gonna bother you.
Yeah.
You can do almost anything. That's why I like October in general. I do a lot of house decorating and stuff, but I also can like bring out all my cool props. Like I made this mask last year. I wear this, like I'll bring my kid to school wearing like crazy things, and and I'll dress up like horror characters. But it's the only time of the year I can actually do it without being looked at as weird. But no, it's interesting. I do want to see the, like I said, I look forward to this movie coming out where you said it's like, okay, you did a couple of those other films. You had those comedy elements which loosen and soften it up and sometimes in horror, if a movie goes sour, you can just be like, well, it's a comedy film anyway. It's supposed to be funny. It's supposed to be goofy. It's supposed to be silly. But now you've gone straight edge horror. It pretty much psychological. It's really going to be kind of, majority horror.
It'll be a nice challenge for us. That's what we're looking to kind of like up our game with this one. And then the next 2 movies coming out after this are even weirder genres than that. So.
We are just about out of time, but I do have a question about that. What has there been any major changes that you had to do in your style of directing to get the tone that you wanted for this movie?
I think the like Golden said earlier, the biggest change was just flipping from being like director and cameraman and doing a bunch of stuff to now just being able to strictly focus on directing. And then it really helps me focus on the scene itself. Like that's all I have to do is make sure the scene looks good. And I don't have to worry about what the camera, because Golden's taking care of getting that all set up, and I can work with the actors on how we want it to look and sound and everything. So I think the biggest change is just being able to focus strictly on directing.
Well, and the fact that you said this was in development for like 15 years, you have a very clear vision of what you want. So that must make it a little easier.
It did. That's why I was so hell-bent on getting things done before the snow melted, because the whole winter thing was part of the idea from the very, very beginning.
You don't want to wait another year.
No.
When I was sitting in a bar with a notepad, just kind of writing with my buddies some ideas. The whole project changed quite a bit, but that part stayed.
That one scene kind of was like the holding glue of the whole project. Yeah. No, and that's awesome to kind of see something. I mean, it must feel good and accomplished any which way to take something that was kind of your first idea, even before everything else, and kind of now it's getting made into something. Now it's coming to life. And it kind of goes, there's really no time frame of when things need to be put out there. Just put them out there.
I think, like, for me, the biggest issue's been I'm so used to adding comedy to it. So, like, we'll be going over scenes and stuff, and I'm thinking, like, oh, man, this would be so funny. And I'm like, no, can't have it be funny. So it's just like, oh, you got to keep reminding yourself that, no, we're doing psychological horror. We're doing a lot of anxiety in it, like,
a lot of tension and a lot of imagery and atmosphere.
No, and I mean, like I said, that I think is when you start getting into that, I almost feel that's scarier than, like I said, the slasher realm, because it's not this man in a mask that's chasing you. It's something within. It's something that you live with. It's something that you're going to bed with. It's something that you're by yourself with. Even anxiety itself is anxiety provoking. Like, it's scary to be anxious. It's a weird phenomenon, but it happens. Panic attacks, all of that. People are more afraid of panic attacks sometimes than what they're actually afraid of that causes a panic attack, because of like the shortness in breath and the sweatiness and just the whole idea
loss of control. Yeah.
And your body shutting down. It makes it very tense, and sometimes seeing these things on TV, even if you have the slightest anxiety, it's kind of like, oh, well, I can relate to that. And it makes it even more scarier. That's why I think I prefer psychological thriller, just because I can relate
It's my favorite
to a lot
genre.
of it.
Yeah.
Much more than I can relate to, like I said. I mean, I appreciate all horror movies, but I mean, and they all have their own thing, but I as relatable, I can't relate to like a serial killer. I can't relate to, Jason or Michael Myers or somebody. But, somebody at home, that went through something or something traumatic happened, like,
What's
had a
more
house
relatable than
fire or
having a
something,
nightmare?
or
You know?
yeah,
People's nightmare.
or even something mundane that everybody goes through, but just seeing somebody go through it their special way, it can change, just makes it more scary to me,
Right.
any which way. So you, like you said, your movies can be found on well, one can be found on YouTube,
Yep.
and some
Our
of them
most
we can
recent
go
one,
through hard. And how about you guys? You guys have like a website? You guys do your own social medias? How do you guys get yourself out there?
We have a social media platform. It's on Facebook, September Brothers Productions. I post a lot of behind the scenes and a lot of my photography on my Instagram, Mikey B Director. So there's a lot of like updates and stuff from the movies on that as well for me personally.
Awesome.
I'm the old man, so I just have my personal Facebook, and I have an Instagram, and I always tell people anybody that follows me is going to be very bored because I don't think I've posted any pictures on that for like 3 years, and
That's why
I
you
just don't
click the
think
little
about it.
button on top that says share. What you share to Facebook, share it to Instagram too, so it
Sync it.
keeps it active. And how about you, Amelia? I'm guessing you have an IMDb page, and
IMDb, Facebook, Instagram. Yeah.
where can they find you? Is it
For Instagram, it's at Amelia Favada. For Facebook, just type in Amelia Favada and you'll find me.
great?
Same
That's
with
great.
IMDb.
Same thing. Yes. Awesome. That's great. Like I said, I can't wait to see where this goes. And honestly, you guys really do have a great thing going. I'm really excited for what you guys can do in the future in the horror world. It's very exciting. Seeing all the passion, seeing all the enthusiasm, just seeing all the creativity. But with a clear head, you all know what you want to do and you have a direction of doing it. It's inspiring, honestly.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well,
yeah.
thank you. Thank you guys for coming on and telling me all about this, and everybody, check out their stuff. Check out Shattered Dreams when that gets released. And thank you everybody for tuning in tonight on the show. It's been a pleasure. Stay warm. I think we're almost done with the snow on the East Coast. Hopefully,
I hope so,
thankfully,
yeah.
I hope so. But as always, everybody, stay spooky. Have a great night. We're out of here.
Thank you.